Greetings, Jedi traders. David here of TradingFibs.com to bring you the daily trend for week 34, day 4. It is August 25th, 2016. As always, please seek financial advisor when trading with your money, as these videos are for educational purposes only. To support your knowledge of the market, see what's going through my head on any given day. Always make sure you have a solid trading plan and always manage your stop when placing a trade. All right. It is Thursday, as said, as we lead into Friday, which has seemed to be has been the flow of the week as we move towards the symposium there in Jackson Hole, and words from Janet Yellen that might be able to move this market either way. Boy, we got hedging going up, down, all around, and let's just jump right in to the charts today. Take a look at some of the other indices as well. All right, trading the three indices, only one today. It was all about the NQ for two setups today, missing a couple entries there, playing a little bit safe after a really good Wednesday. Didn't do a video here for 2 days. Yesterday, major run on the NQ for 200 ticks and the ES for 60 ticks. Again, always looking for 1 to 2 setups each day that have a high probability of trend. We'll take a look at what that means here in a little bit. But there it is, one market, 2 setups on the NQ downside. A couple of setups all across the board on the NQ as detailed here in the blog. A little bit of econ data. Take a look at the big picture at the end of the week on the recap. But jobless claims pretty steady at 260 flat. And so that brings our weekly total to 14 setups and 545 ticks, with the majority of those on the NQ. Picked up the big number yesterday. Take a look at those 2 setups. There's our big picture for the majority of the session. Again, 2 setups on the NQ with a high probability setup of 5 charts in the green. And then to the downside, missed the initial entry, actually all across the board. And then it was the latter portion of that sell-off with about 4 to 5 charts out of, actually it was the entry, had about 5 charts in the red right there. Didn't hold on too long. Out at the Globex low, another re-entry possible, but by this part, just decided to stay out of the entire move. All right, so there was the one nice NQ move to the upside. Again, shooting for the sky here to the Globex high, and price action all across the board, and decided everything in the green, 5 charts in the green, was willing to exit out here and call it a trade, and it was to the downside. It's just the other way. US Open, Globex, front run the target and out, and that was it for the remainder of the session. Let's take a look at the VIX here, as price action on the VIX holding upside now, as that caution zone underneath the 12 holding up above the T350 here. Price action, you can see back above the 144, as price action on the VIX now back a little bit upside, waiting for the T3 moving averages to cross all upside above the 144, and eventually the 50 to cross above the 144 to get us back in an uptrend, would mean the market would be coming down. You're looking to trade the VIX. You can look to the ETF here. You can see price action as we've looked at on other market recaps here on the daily trend. Big picture still downside on the weekly. Daily still sitting under the 50 and the 200s. But there it is, a little push up. Again, if you're looking for the ETF and a rise, there's your start of initial pullback. We tried there on Wednesday last week and no succession. Price action again, trying again today, as price action on the overall market has been down and button up against that 50 MA. The question will be, will we hold upside? Well, we'll soon to see. Again, for the intraday setup to splice into the bigger trend with an upside resistance here at 40.51. That's what I'm looking at. Also, you're going to have to watch that 50 MA as well. But on the intraday, wait for the 200 tick, the 150 tick, starting to get the signs on the 100 tick chart. So ETF starting to look good if we can break above that 50 MA. All right, let's take a look at the charts here. Let's take a look at the AD line. It's our advanced decliners for this session. Price action again starting on a 1 minute to a 3 minute, 5 minute, and then a 10 minute chart here. We can see resistance here at the 750. Price action really never being able to budge above that. That's your European close. Market retraces a little bit. Find that supported zero. All those short entries that were looking good downside, well, they never followed through on the AD line, pretty much held steady for the rest of the session. So no go to the shorts. It really was all about upside today. Take a look at the Fibonacci targets. When we say upside, I mean upside but flat overall. Fib target upside hit on the YM up here, and fib target on the NQ, on the ES up here at 2177.25 and to the T. Very nice move. Take a look at the daily gaps. Price action on the daily gaps. There we go. Price action again, leaving the gap upside from Tuesday and Wednesday. And price action get another lift here. Again, we got gaps both up and down. This is our only upside gap. NQ with the only gaps to the downside, 47.46 down here. Again, we got that all-time high zone right now, which we've pretty much cleared that. So really the only downside target here, 47.46. And ES crawling back down to 2163.50 as the crude struggles in this zone up here with two open gaps upside set at the beginning of the week and from last week's session. All right, let's take a look at the big charts as we roll in here. There we are, screen shared. Take a look at the crude again. Crude today, and when we talk about crude, what are we looking for on any given chart? Again, the template for that matter is when you look for a setup, you're looking for a high probability setup where the buy signal means just simply the two charts are in sync here. The three charts on the bottom are the market internals. That's relating to chart 3, chart 4, and chart 5. And again, this is not from today. This is an old picture of crude. But again, a great example of all charts in sync, 5 charts in sync, and we're looking for an upside trend in the HA bars to keep us in the move. So here it is, crude again with 3 charts, at least a minimum. I tend to look for 5 charts in sync, but again, not a bad trade. Breaking above the T350, entries above the T350, going long. Nice move on the crude, probably bailed out or stopped out. Again, don't trade the crude, but watching it on the trend as traders in the trading room might be. And then the next best entry right here, break above the Globex high for a nice successful second trend of the day. Take a look at the YM again. YM a little bit more challenging today. There's your trading session as we lead into Friday. Sell signal downside here. Better of the entries down here as you had 5 charts in the red, but YM a little bit challenged in there on the go. NQ with a very choppy morning. Again, on a smaller time frame, NQ would have done you well, but again, you had that Globex low there, and again, might have been stopped out, might have taken a loss, but the better entries of the day, here you go. You got a nice trend with at least 4 charts in the green. Better entry here, 5 charts in the green to the upside, up to the Globex high. That's the one I grabbed. To the downside here, you got at least 3 charts in the red. I grabbed the second portion of that. All I had to do was go to a 6-3 chart. You go to a 6-3 chart at 138, and there's your entry right there. And simply abandon the trade down at the lows, which happened to be at that time the Globex low, I believe, which I don't know why it's not coming up here on the chart, but that was the Globex low. We'll get that on the charts for you next time so you can see that. All right, take a look at ES. Oh, by the way, and there was the last nice setup here. Not bad with, but again, you're in here in the last minutes. That's about 30 seconds to go and pretty much held out the remainder of the session. ES again with, again, a little bit of a choppy session in the morning. A lot of setups here. But again, if you hold to only the setups above the T350 for the long with most charts in sync, you are better off today. Once price action tucked underneath. I missed this portion on ES. By this point, I said, forget it. I'm not doing anything. But you can see pretty much where we started today. We almost finished the day. Here's the midnight open back upside with a nice little move towards the end. Take a look at the gold as price action on the gold continued to come downside from yesterday. Gold has been on a move to the downside, all holding underneath the T350 one after another. There's the good majority of your early entry from pre-market session. For the most part today, gold didn't move anywhere. All right, let's take it. There's our 6 main charts that we watch each day. Actually, I have the, let me pull up the bond market here. I don't know why it didn't show up, but there's your bonds today. Again, bonds with a nice little move here towards the afternoon session with a sell signal underneath the T350 here with all 5 charts in sync. But again, a little bit slacky on the bonds there. All right, taking a look all across the board, we have the EMD. That's the S&P Midcap 400 here. Very choppy all across the board. Looking at the 6E, you can see a lot of chop here, nothing significant. Taking a look at the euro here again, I'm sorry, not the euro, the Japanese yen. not much action. Again, what stood out here really was the ZS. As you can see, nice trend to the downside. Let's go ahead and look at that on the template here, which has all 5 charts. What a move here. Sell signal downside, solid Heikin Ashi bar. You might have waited till the entry underneath the Globex low. But if you got the first initial couple bars with 5 charts in the red, look across the board. It was all red, 50 below 144 to keep you in the trend all the way to the downside. It's a really nice picture on the ZS to the downside. All right, as we head into tomorrow, that's today's daily trend as far as where markets were at today. Looking ahead, we take a look at the 2 charts, the 2 key charts, together with the daily gaps. Right now, 4-hour chart indicating that we are in a pullback in an upper trend, but we are holding underneath the T350, which is now sloped into the red. So you got to watch for that 144 EMA for downside support, but 200 are still upside with volume across the board, almost meeting 60-period average. So here on the NQ, holding upside above the 5200, that's first. We are way above. Price action again on the 4-hour chart, holding to the pullback. So if we're to head back upside overnight session or regular trading hours, watch for the resistance at the 50 and the T350. Again, to regain any trend upside, we're going to need to get back above that T350. So I got to give the momentum right now to the downside in correction, and then eventually if we break the 144, well, you got to watch out, because then the daily gaps come into play, 2160, 350, fib retracements as well. And then we can go to our VPOCs and look for 600-day VPOCs, which right now are way below 2093.50, and any daily gap that we might have below that, for instance on the ES or the NQ here, for instance 47.46, and then we just start looking at the gaps all the way downside. So first we stick to the moving averages. If we have an open gap in the way, we'll take a look at it, but there you go. Price action on the YM, same picture. ES holding all above 5200s. I got to give momentum to the downside with a correction, but finding a little bit of support here at the 144, but I got red across the board. So right now my momentum is downside on the pullback. Intraday, got to be ready for both directions, but for right now, momentum is in a correction, and if we follow downside underneath the 144, I got to watch out for the 50s first and the daily gaps. Take a look at the crude as we're still holding above 50, above 200. I got to give momentum still to the upside on the crude as we do find support here at the T3, at the 50 EMA and T350. So I like crude still to the upside. Momentum on the gold, I got to give it to the bottom downtrend as we're losing support here at the 50, and price action holding downside underneath the 144 as well as the T350. So I got to go with momentum both downside on the bonds and the gold. Current momentum holding up on the EMD, S&P 400 mid cap. Again, that's what we're looking for. We want to see price action bounce back upside, so I got to go with the momentum pull back, but now in correction back to the upside, finding support. So I got to go with the upside. Taking a look at the 6E euro, still holding upside. Again, like the other markets, pull back, but finding the support here at the 50. If we can get those T3 moving averages back upside, then my momentum is back in an uptrend, unlike the other markets. And then finally here on the yen, price action again to the upside, holding above the 5,200. But again, in a pullback correction, still bigger picture, 4 hours, still uptrend after all these months. Yes, well, at least for August after a correction. But we'll want to see if it holds here. If T3 moving averages go down, watch for that 144 EMA or any daily gap to the downside. All right, just a little input here as I use the Sierra charts every day. For those that use the Thinkorswim platforms, this platform is available. As you can see, very similar setup. I don't have all the bars at the bottom, but again, same idea, keeping it simplified, watching the moving averages, looking for things to be either above or below the T350. Again, nice labels here that you can use on TOS. But the bottom line here is whatever trending bar study you use. It could be Renko's, Momentum, Heikin Ashi, which is my choice, Candle Trends, John Carter's DTM trend. It's all about remaining in the trend. You can even use an indicator like Woody CCI perhaps to keep you in. But again, I'm not using these necessarily as price bars, but more of momentum. For instance, as we saw today there on the ZS, right? Take a look at the ZS. That's the setup we're looking for to remain in the trend. And whether you're looking at regular candles or not, these candles tell me a lot that the trend is remaining downside, and I can use those on the bigger time frame charts as well of what to keep me in the longer trend, whether it's an ETF or for instance, if you're trading an option, you're also looking at a chart as well. What's going to keep you in even longer? All right, as we head into tomorrow, we're taking a look at GDP, big number, Red Star Event International. So this whole week's been a lead up to Friday. Next week we have end of the month. Summertime trading is ending, but really I think all eyes focus on Janet Yellen speaking. Again, you know the huzzbuzz out there is what are we going to do with rate hikes? You got big players in the market saying they're all positioning for the short. We'll be ready, obviously, any day for the short if it's to come. Otherwise, it's all about watching the trades intraday every day and be ready in both directions. All right, until tomorrow, guys, that concludes an insight into the daily trend. I'm pretty excited about tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll get a nice run like we got on Wednesday. Feel free to stop by at tradingfibs.com or any of my social media outlets to obtain more information. My mantra, one simple strategy, any market, any chart, whether you use range chart, minute chart, doesn't matter. Any time frame will keep you disciplined. Check out my Twitter at Trading Fibs, where I post daily charts. And as always, I leave the crystal ball to the experts. I only trade what's in front of me and on my charts, and I do leave my bias at the door when trading. The news is shut off. I'm only watching those charts. If you're interested in attending a free session on Fridays, please go ahead and email me, David at TradingFibs, tradingfibs.com, and I'll go ahead and send you a link. Check it out. If it's something that works for you, great. Stay. Spend the day and then see if you like what you see. All right, I think that concludes everything. If I forgot anything, I'm sure I'll post it online. I'll cover it in the trading room, but that's what I do every day. I go over the charts. I think about what can I do better tomorrow? What did I miss out on? Make notes on your charts, whatever you need to do to get good setups. Hey guys, have yourselves a blue zone day wherever you may be, whatever you may be doing, and good day. Good night, and as always, good trading to ya.